Nintendo Switch. Let's go ahead and talk about that. None of the garbage that we were just talking about before. Let's talk about the big thing that happened this morning. Okay, first off, as you already know, and as some people watching might already know, I stayed up all night for this reveal because I was just that excited.
Yeah, I got up this morning and I was like, I went on Discord. I was like, oh, Alex streaming and X.
Yeah, that was me preparing. I had to fill in the time because I was playing other stuff beforehand, and I had like an hour left, so I wanted to go ahead and do that just to make the time go faster. I was really excited. After seeing that tweet from last night. I felt like I was just that same Nintendo fanboy I've been throughout all of my years of living on this earth. So yeah, Nintendo Switch. Let's go ahead and I guess just get our first initial thoughts. We'll go ahead and start with you. What did you think after watching?
Why the freaking name the Switch? Like, NX just sounds better. Like, the Switch is like, it's the Nintendo Switch. Like, I don't know, like, where they were coming from with the name. Like, what's the origin with it?
So, I guess, like, the thing that I would think it comes from is the fact that you could switch between handheld and console gaming. I would agree with you in that I got pretty attached to the name NX, even though I knew it was like a prototype name, similar like how Dolphin came into GameCube. I'm sure a lot of people had that attachment to Dolphin back in the day as well. But that's how I felt about NX. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna branch out from the Wii branding at all, but I, for one, like the name. I like the name Nintendo Switch. It gets the point across of like what kind of console it is, what it's gonna do for the average person. You know, some people might have some questions about, you know, what is this console, or like why do I need it? Having the name Nintendo Switch gets that messaging across to the person, and it'll stick because it's so unique and so different for it's so different from the past consoles and stuff like that. Like one of the bigger problems with the Wii U was that the fact that it shared so many similarities with the Wii that the average person was just confused. I know that for hardcore Nintendo fans like myself, or gamers in general like you, they would be able to easily differentiate the two, but I guess with the general public it was just a little bit harder to sell to because it was just so similar in a lot of ways and so confusing. So I think the name Nintendo Switch is really improving on that front.
Well, yeah, I'm glad they got rid of, well, they started to deviate from the names instead of like, we've got the Wii, now with Wii U, and then we get the Wii Double D. It's just like, okay.
There were so many jokes, like, it's gonna be called the new Wii U Extreme Deluxe Edition XL or something.
Like, that's good for sure, that, they switched the name up, but it's like, like, I understand, like, now that you said, oh, you switch between console and that little tablet thing, like, that makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking. I was trying to, like, figure out, I'm like, so does it involve the controllers, because you can switch the controllers around and then use them like that? I don't know.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, well, shut up.
All right. So moving right along, I do have a few notes here that I'm reading off of just for like some talking points. And so after watching the trailer, are you sold on the console? Because I know you didn't buy a Wii U, and that says a lot that it didn't sell to you, being a hardcore gamer.
So I was never sold on the Wii. The Wii had its issues because motion control was just it was garbage. Like, I remember playing Red Steel, and that was a pain in the butt to play.
I had a feeling you were gonna say Skyward Sword.
Oh god, don't even. Skyward Sword? Good game. Horrible Zelda game. I don't want to be reminded every like 20 minutes that my battery's dying, or feed coming up and being like, hey, you want to use this dousing mode so you can go walk around and find stuff? Anyway, going back to the, like, and then it came to Wii U, and, you know, I like Nintendo, but I'm not, like, the biggest fan of them. And when the Wii U came along, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, what are they going to have, you know, console exclusive-wise? Not really much. From what I remember reading was the Nintendo Wii U sold about, I think, like 11 million units, like, right off the bat or something like that. and then that was just like destroyed by PS4 and the Xbone. Like, the Switch looks interesting in the fact that it's Nintendo in the past like few months have been looking into like mobiles. Actually kind of cool because some of their stuff kind of should lean towards that. And with Pokemon Go, I know even though they didn't develop it, that was all what's their name, Niantic or something. Niantic, thank you. Like it's really cool to see that they're getting out there for like mobile apps and stuff. But with this, I kind of feel like it's, I guess, kind of like a nice middle ground. It's like a handheld where you can have really hardcore games on, you can have really good games on it, and then you can have stuff for like casual people who are like, play the new Zelda game or something like that.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think that's what they were going for, actually. They've been talking a lot for the past year. I think it was around this time last year when they had it was like an earnings report or an earnings meeting or something like that. They were first talking about bringing some of their properties to mobile, and obviously that has worked very well. Maybe not in terms of longevity. I know for a fact that Miitomo came out. It shot to the top of the downloads charts, and it was really, really fun. There just wasn't a lot of content there to keep people coming back, and I think it's the same case for Pokemon Go, although that user base is still very, very large. Even now, we are in October, and so I think that the fact that they're bringing like larger, like pretty much console level gaming to handhelds, like the tablet that you take with you. I don't know what to call it. I think I'll just call it a tablet or a game. I'll call it a gamepad. There we go. We'll call it the gamepad. So the gamepad you take with you is the perfect blend of that without it fully being a mobile phone. I think that's the best way to approach mobile gaming because at least for me, I don't play a lot of mobile games. That's
on the toilet I do.
I mean, there's very limited use for me for a mobile game, but if I could bring stuff like Breath of the Wild or stuff of that scale with me,
my pooping session,
or that that would be incredible. I am already just so blown away at the fact that that's even a possibility. I saw in the trailer that there was a guy like mounting the display on like the little dinner trays on an airplane.
Yeah.
He takes off the controllers. He takes off the controllers on the side, and he's just sitting there playing Skyrim on a plane. So
and then you looked at the guy next to him, and he's just like taking up all the arm space.
I mean, at least he had headphones in, so he wasn't bothering anybody. But still, that level of console play, being able to take that with me wherever I go, that is just, it feels like we're in the future, almost. I really, really like that idea. I think it's the perfect way to approach appealing to people like me who aren't exactly interested in mobile and people who are interested in mobile. I don't know, it's just the perfect middle ground for the people to meet together in terms of interests.
What I'm more curious about is like the actual hardware specs to it. Like, how long is that thing, the tablet, going to be able, like, what's its resolution, what's the battery life like, processor, what's, the graphics at, because they showed Skyrim, and from what I've been reading, like, comments and stuff, and people like, oh, hopefully, it's the remastered version, but it honestly looks like just, the typical PC version, which, is no small feat, but how bad is that going to be on the battery of it? Because I know gaming laptops just get, like, completely shat on when it comes to running any type of, like, graphic-intensive game.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. So that's something I was actually thinking about while I was watching it, too. Don't get me wrong, the concept and everything is just incredible. I love it, but
it's cool.
That could, like, the way that the games perform and overall look and how long they last, these are important things that could potentially take the whole idea and just, I don't know, completely downgrade it. So if you're taking these games on the go, I'll give you my hopes for this gamepad. So my hopes would be that it's at least 720p resolution. I know it's not optimal, but it would make sense for longer lasting battery life, because the higher resolution you have, the more, you already know. So I would at least hope that it's capable of 720p running at 60 hertz. Not to say that all games will take advantage of that 60 hertz, but I would just hope that the display is capable of displaying that. So that would be my hopes for the resolution. In terms of battery life, I would hope that it could be something at least comparable to a 3DS. So my 3DS XL gets about, I would say, 7 to 8 hours of charge, especially if you can dock the system and play it at home, just like a regular console. I would at least hope that you could have, at the bare minimum, at 7 hours of gameplay off of the dock. And in terms of performance, this is an interesting thing. So I was watching this trailer and I was wondering, where does the game play from? So I saw him taking it out of the dock and the display was coming with him. He was going on an airplane. I was wondering, does it work through streaming, or is the motherboard and the graphics, all that stuff in the display itself?
I think it's in the display itself. From they put the memory card into the machine, so I'm kind of assuming that it's kind of like a 3DS in the sense that you can play stuff from SD cards. And what I found interesting was there doesn't seem to be a physical component to it. You can't put a disc in or anything, like the Wii U or anything.
Oh yeah, so now that you mentioned that, I think what you saw, that memory card or whatever, is actually the game. They're cartridges.
That's a bad idea.
I think that's a good idea. Let me see if I can explain why.
You lose so much space. Well, I'm thinking of freaking 3DS one. So, I mean, if it's a standard SD card, then it just comes down to production cost.
See, because most Wii U games didn't pass the 30 gigabyte threshold. None of them ever really broke 30 gigs, except for, I think, when we played Fatal Frame. Yeah, Fatal Frame was pretty big. But even then, I don't think that broke 30 gigs. So most Wii U games were pretty small. And if you're going to take that approach with a new system, implementing them on cartridges and stuff, I would think that that they would go with that in mind. Yeah, so I don't know, I think that's a good idea, because if you were to put a disc into a portable like that,
oh god,
thinking about the PSP and the PS Vita right now, you would have to make some compromises, because those weren't actual discs. They were UMDs, and they were still technically discs, but it would be the same thing like the GameCube was, where it's just it would be its own form of a disc. And I would assume there'd have to be some compromises there with the smaller size and stuff, but I think a cartridge is a good way to go. It makes them easier to carry around. I wouldn't want to be carrying discs with me, that's for sure. If I wanted to play Breath of the Wild and maybe some of that new Mario Kart, I would not want to be lugging around a CD case with me. I'd rather have them in a little, the things you find at GameStop or something, where you can just stick the cartridges in there and you have 7 of them. I would definitely prefer that over discs. But what was I talking about? Oh, right. So yeah, you were talking about the specs being inside the actual console or the display.
Yeah, it has to be. It would be nuts to have it otherwise. Doing streaming via, Wi-Fi or something. Wi-Fi is so freaking spotty in the US.
It's already spotty, and then I had that thought, oh my gosh, is it streaming to his display? And it doesn't have to have that. It doesn't have to, the display doesn't have to run this. It's just streaming. But then he went on the airplane, and I was like, okay, well maybe it's just on the display itself. There's no way they would let him on an airplane like that. But
the thing's gonna blow up on him.
I think that's really interesting. To have essentially a portable console in your hands, and then you could take it home, dock it on the whatever, and then play it on your TV. I think that's really, really cool. I don't know, that idea just gets me really, really excited. What I would love to see is an Animal Crossing. I would love to see an Animal Crossing come to the Switch.
That's such a dumb name. That's a dumb name. It would be. It'd be interesting to see, I don't know, a new Metroid. Or, no, I think we need more Federation, what's the game called?
Federation Force.
Federation Force. I was gonna say Federation like Earth Defense, but that's the game with giant bugs and
Yes, it is. So, would you say that you are sold on this console? Or would you want to know more first?
I seriously need to know. Like, I need to know the specs, I need to know the game lineup. I remember reading something, some article, where they said that Nintendo, I think they released like a list of third company parties that would be developing for it. And, you had Activision, some other people, and then it was like, FromSoft, and I'm just like, yeah.
Oh yes,
Praise the sun.
that is totally interesting that you bring that up, because I do have that list of developers right in front of me.
Oh.
It's the list of confirmed developers developing for Nintendo Switch so far. So, I guess I'll just go ahead and read off a couple, just for giggles and stuff. So, to kick it off, obviously, Activision. There's Atlas. Take that as you will.
Well, I mean, they did do the thing with Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem.
I've heard that's pretty good.
We need to play that sometime. We keep talking about it. We're like, yeah, we should go get that, play it or something.
There's also Bandai Namco. Bethesda.
Well, no, duh.
Yeah, we saw Skyrim in the trailer. There's Capcom. Possibly like Street Fighter V port, I would imagine. Especially with the fact that you could bring that display. It's perfect for fighting tournaments, but
Yeah,
that's getting off topic. There's EA. There's From Software, which is you just touched on. Gung Ho Entertainment. That sounds familiar. Continuing on, we have Koei Tecmo. There's Konami. There's Platinum Games. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, Star Fox Zero, sad face.
There's Sega, Square Enix, Take-Two Interactive, Telltale Games. Oh, gee, I wonder what kind of game that's going to be. Perhaps Batman or Walking Dead, I don't know. Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, Cryware, Unity, and Havoc. So yeah, there's quite a lot of developers that are already hopping on board the Nintendo Switch development train, if you wanna call it that. So I guess the next thing that I want to talk about, now that we talked about developers for a little bit, is what did you like? Did you see all the games that were shown off during that trailer?
Oh, of course, we got Skyrim. We had some Mario game. It looked like Double Dash, like for Mario Kart Double Dash, I think. I don't know. For some reason, my mind's like there were two driving or on the cart. What else was there?
So, in the trailer, at least, we had, it started off with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild,
Yep.
obviously. After that, we had a really, really short glimpse of Mario Kart. I don't know, because it looked, like, visually very, very similar to Mario Kart 8, but there were a few small differences. So in the trailer, they had one person on the left, I think, playing as Mario, I want to say, but the person on the right was playing as King Boo. Now, when I was watching this, I was really confused, because when Mario Kart 8 came out, I was a big fan of King Boo. I wanted him to be a character. He wasn't. And seeing him in this trailer being playable, I don't know if maybe that's like an enhanced version of Mario Kart 8 coming to the Switch, or possibly a new Mario Kart game. The reason why I say new also is because if you take a look at the top right of each player's heads-up display, they're holding two items. So maybe that's why you thought it was Double Dash, yeah. And those two differences with like King Boo being playable and them holding two items really confuses me. I don't know what to think other than Mario Kart's coming to the Switch. I don't know in what capacity, whether it's going to be like an enhanced version of Mario Kart 8 or just a brand new Mario Kart game in general. Regardless, I'm excited, and I definitely want to try out one day playing Mario Kart in an Uber, because that concept itself just seems hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the new games, Well, then you got Skyrim. It's like, oh, hey, look, Skyrim.
Yeah, they showed him playing Skyrim on the plane. And then, after that, they showed that little esports bit of, like, players practicing their strategies and stuff like that. They showed what I believe to be a new version of Splatoon. It's another one of those things where I don't know if it's like an enhanced version or possibly a sequel, because if you look in the trailer, not only are the animations different for spawning in and stuff like that, but each Inkling now has multiple hairstyles for each gender. And this was something that immediately caught my eye whenever I was watching the trailer, because the Inkling boy, there were some of them that didn't have that disgusting man bun thing on their head. So I saw that and I was like, what the heck is this? And then I saw a few of the...
The world is changing.
I know, and I saw a few of the, like, Inkling girls having shorter hair than the normal length. I was watching and I was just like, if this is a sequel, I can get behind that. Because that would make Splatoon portable, which is something I think that the Splatoon would really, really benefit from. Because of the fact that it didn't really take too big of an advantage of the gamepad. The only thing that would show on the gamepad while you were playing the game is the minimap, but that could easily be placed on the bottom right of your screen. I think because of the fact that it didn't rely as heavily on the gamepad's functionality as other games did, I think that it would benefit well from being mobile as well as being able to be played on console.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, let's talk about the controller a little bit. So, what do you think about the controller? Are you, like, is portability, are you going to really take advantage of that at all? Or, like, do you think the controller looks comfortable? They showed off, like, what looks like a Pro controller as well, in addition to the fact that you can play it like a gamepad or take off the sides. You know, what did you think about that?
I think the Pro controller looks really good. I'm more of a controller person, like a typical controller, like a 360 or Xbox One. That kind of controller. I don't like when I have to have like my hands on two separate things, and it didn't look natural to me. And then whenever they like switched them over and they were like using them as single controllers, I was like, nope, I'm good. They just look too small.
They look really small. Well, at least you're covered on the fact that they have like the Pro controller looking option.
Well, yeah, that was in the little trailer thing.
Yeah. I think the important thing to take away from this is the idea of giving the consumer, giving the user the ability to choose how they want to play their games. So maybe, I know for Mario Kart, each person had, like, I guess a half of the display that slides off. I'd assume in that situation you wouldn't really have a choice, but it looks like whether you want to play it like a tablet, like not tablet, like the gamepad, or if you want to play it with the controllers in each hand, or if you want to play it with the traditional Pro controller design, it looks like you can approach it however you want, which it seems to be a recurring theme throughout this new Nintendo Switch, is the ability to choose. Because if you don't want to play Breath of the Wild portably, you could always play it on console. Or if you're like always out of the house, or if, you know, for whatever reason you're outside a lot and you want to bring Breath of the Wild with you, you can do that. And if you want to play like you do, play your games with a more classic controller feel, you can do that. Or, you know, you just have the freedom of choice, and that looks like it's going to be a recurring theme throughout the console, as well as hopefully the games themselves.
I mean, hopefully the game, like all games, allow you to use controller schemes.
Yes,
I know, like, the Wii didn't.
The Wii practically forced you to use the Wii Remote and Nunchuck.
Which made sense, because it was motion control. Like, with the new controller, it's a button-based, you know, stick.
Got like a remote.
It's not motion controlled, and it's not like some kind of weird gimmick that, like, motion control. So it's easier to translate from those two little guys to a larger controller. It's just natural.
Yeah, it looks like it feels a lot better to play no matter which option you choose. Obviously, some people are going to have their reservations for like splitting the controller in two in each hand, or using them as a gamepad, or, you know, it's basically up to personal preference at that point. But I'm really happy that they're bringing that freedom of choice, and hopefully game developers develop their games with that in mind.
Hopefully.
Yes, so we already talked about games, but I would like to talk a little bit about games that weren't shown. So the thing I wrote down here before I passed out earlier is, what games would you most like to see come to the Nintendo Switch, if any? So can you think of any like existing franchises or any existing concepts that would work well with the Nintendo Switch, and like anything that you would like to see come to the platform?
I'm really interested to see what Atlas does. If Atlas is just being a developer or they're just doing publishing. I mean, you said it was developer list, but I mean, they could actually just be publishing work. I'm curious to see what that comes out with. FromSoft for sure. FromSoft fanboy. Platinum, I'm interested. I don't know. Just so it has a better, it's easier to develop for. A lot more people come in and maybe we'll get some new interesting ideas from that.
So you basically just want to see what people come up with?
Pretty much.
Okay. I would really love to see a Pokemon game come to the Switch. The fact that it's also a portable console as well as a home console. Pokemon has never really had, or I don't think it's ever had actually, a main series game be on a home console before. So I think a really smart thing to do, and something that will really grab people's attention, maybe that haven't played the Pokemon series in a while, is to bring Pokemon to the Nintendo Switch. Because not only will it please veteran Pokemon fans like myself who have been waiting years and years and years to finally see a Pokemon game come to home consoles, it would also strike the attention of people who potentially don't game at their house as often as we do. So that would be pretty much appealing to the people who want to take it on the go or something like that. I would be interested in both sides. I would love to be able to take a Pokemon game with me or play it at home. But I don't know, to see a Pokemon game in this kind of implemented in this way, I think it would be really awesome to see. I can't think of like specific ways of why I think it would work so well. But I feel like having a Pokemon game on the platform where you have the freedom to choose with whether you take it on the go, play it on a home console, and so many different options for controls, I think that opens up a lot of possibilities for a game like Pokemon, because Pokemon has been strictly handheld ever since its inception. And I think bringing along the idea of being able to play it on a home console and being able to take it on the go, I would like to think that it would open up a lot of doors, and it would bring almost endless possibilities in what you could do with that.
You would hope.
I would hope. Okay, so I think that about wraps it up for our discussion here on the Nintendo Switch. In closing, do you have any final thoughts on the Nintendo Switch? You want to sum it up at all?
Real thoughts? No, not real. You just need more information on it, and that's about it.
Alrighty. I guess my final thoughts are, I'm very excited for the Nintendo Switch. I think the concept is so incredibly brand new, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for game development and stuff like that, and what games can and can't. I don't think there's a game that can't come to this system at this point, because it's just the perfect blend of handheld and a traditional console. So, in short, I'm really, really excited, and I hope this is the beginning of a new era for Nintendo. Hopefully they see the same kind of success that they saw with the Wii, because that was a golden era for them. And I would love to see Nintendo take on the world again in that kind of respect. So with all that said, I'm alecandstuff. This has been my friend Adam.
What?
And I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye! See ya!